What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager save. This is episode number 68. And still returning with a brand new season as our 8th year with Bournemouth gets underway, and our first in the Champions League. Yes, we've finally done it. Today we'll kick off the new season with the opening game of Premier League away at Villa Park. Take a look at what happened in pre-season, and also, of course, the much-loved transfer special. Rob broke the club record transfer fee twice in the same window. Big transfers, let's get straight to it. Yep, I said expect some big moves, and there certainly were. But we'll begin with the departures. As always, as you can see, we loaned out so many of our young players in this window, but also did make a couple of big sales as well. And I'll start off with the loanees. You can see quite a lot of our youngsters that we've bought in at an early age have gone out on loan. Verzkov to Lyon, Santinios to Hoffenheim, Velasquez to Freiburg. Gomez has gone back up to Valencia for like the third or fourth year in a row. Lads, just buy him, seriously. Jenkins has gone to Southampton, so not too far away. Simic to Montpellier as well. So quite a few big loans here. But I know you can see some of the big departures. Oh, by the way, Soria to Newcastle as well. He's such a great young kid, so we'll keep an eye on him there. But I know you see the big departure there, so let me show you what's happened. First of all, you knew Ollie Watkins was going to leave. He's gone to Benfica on a free. Totally fine with that. That was a waste of money. But the big sales, we'll start off with one that counted towards last season, which was Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez left to Leeds for 30 million. I always say this, like, the market valuation tends to inflate more often than not when a player signs for a new club, so take that with a pinch of salt. To get 30 million for him, I'm quite happy with that. He's just turned 32, and he's definitely on the downslope now. But in terms of the biggest departure, well, you would have seen it there. I said he'd probably played his final game for the club. Batman has gone! Batarina has gone. Yep, he's gone to Atletico Madrid for 40 million pounds, and I mean, you could possibly call it an undersale, but he was going into the final year of his contract. I could have extended an extra 12 months, but really, I didn't want to deter the interest. There was big interest from Atletico, from Chelsea. I didn't want to sell him within the same division though. If I was going to sell him, I wanted to sell him abroad. And in the end, he goes to Atletico for 40 million pounds. It could rise slightly higher, but really, it's around 40 mil. So Batarina, Batman, I thought he was going to be the star of the save. He fell off a little bit, but we'll always be grateful for him. For 8.5 mil for the 7 years he was here, he gave us great service. But finally, our number 10, our Croatian kid, has gone. So, those are the sales. Some big names leaving, lots of loan players as well. And in terms of signings, let's just say quality over quantity. Only 3, but I'll tell you what, the names and the deals, massive. Let's get straight to it. And we'll start off with a loan deal. Yep, you don't see us do loan deals very often nowadays, but Rodri is in, and I am buzzing with this. Now, I'm a massive fan of Rodri ever since he joined Manchester City. I mean, he's my sort of player. Hard-working, tremendous body, really, really intelligent player, does the dirty work, and also stays out of the spotlight. I don't even think this guy's got an Instagram account. I absolutely love, Rodri's in from Chelsea for a year. He's in the final year of his contract at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea wanted like 30 million for him, and I was like, lads, I get he's an elite midfielder, but at 33, you think I'm going to give you 30 million for a player in the final year of his deal? Absolutely not. But Rodri's in. Obviously, moving on for Atletico Madrid to Manchester City after a year for 61 million. Tremendously consistent there. Chelsea then bought him for 76 mil 3 years ago. And you see it there, averaging over 7.0 in all 3 seasons and putting in really, really good shifts year in, year out. So he knows the league. He's been here for a decade now in England, and he's still got it. We're paying 2.2 mil for the loan fee. But to be honest, in the final year of his contract, wanting 30 mil Chelsea, I thought it's better to get him in on loan. Pay his wages, first player I've ever had on over 200 grand a week, but this guy's definitely worth it. You know I love him. Physically, he's still really, really solid, even though now he is in his final years. He's still described as an elite midfielder. Technically, still sublime. Great first touch, great pass, a superb tackler, but mentally, as we know, that's where Rodri excels. He reads the game fantastically well. Rodri in on a loan deal, final year of his contract. I expect Chelsea to release him in the summer, so to me, this just made perfect sense. And there's only 2 more signings. Can you believe it? Yeah, just 3 signings, but like I said, quality over quantity, no doubt about that. So the next signing I'll show you is the guy who is now the second most expensive signing in Bournemouth history, but for a month was the most expensive signing in Bournemouth history. Yep, that club record fee only lasted a month, and the guy that held it was the former Well, Aston Villa in the save, but also Crystal Palace and Reading winger. You know the name. Michael Elise is in, and I'm very happy with this one here to replace Batterina for £56 million. Now, Elise, as we know, at Reading burst onto the scene in the Championship, and he was part of a crop of really good young players in Medeski, who everyone thought, who's going to be the best, who's going to have the best career. It does look as though that will be Elise. Joined Crystal Palace, great signing from Patrick Vieira, and in the save, he gave him a few really solid years there. But joining Aston Villa, the first year, he was pretty poor, but the last 2 years, he was very, very good. 12 goals in his second year at Villa Park, and then last year, I think he won the assist title last year, or he was definitely in the top 3 anyway, but 11 assists in 30 games, plus 6 goals as well last year. Michael Elise balled out, and therefore Aston Villa decided to cash in on what was a great career year for Elise, if you will. Now, Elise, as we all know, is one of those multinational players. He could possibly represent France, Algeria, or England. He's got a cap, but I don't know if he's still eligible to represent Algeria and France, because I think nowadays, you play in friendlies, you can go and get capped elsewhere, if that makes sense. So yeah, but anyway, Elise is in, and he's a homegrown player, as we know, so really important to me. And replacing Batterina, yes, it was £16 million more, but he's homegrown, and I don't know, I just thought he was a really good fit to replace the Croatian. So physically, he's solid, he's alright, nothing jumps out at you, but he's okay. Mentally, he's quite good, 16 flair, 16 vision, very good indeed, with 14 off the ball as well. But technically, that's where Elise really excels. 15 crossing, 16 dribbling, 16 first touch, 16 free kicks, just ask David De Gea, 16 passing, 13 long shots, in my opinion, should be a little bit higher, but also 17 technique as well. He's got some really nice PPMs too. Great player, and 27 years old, in the prime of his career right now. To have him for the next 5 years on 90 grand a week, to me, that's a smart signing. Yes, a little bit more than what we sold Batterina for, but to bring in a homegrown player to replace him in the prime of his career, I'm very happy with that. And that club record transfer fee of £56 million, like I said, stood for a month and was then broken 2 weeks ago. Welcome to Bournemouth Football Club for £71 million. I'll be honest here, I don't have buyer's remorse, but I definitely feel as though this was a little bit inflated, regardless of what the market valuation says. Having said that, this guy physically is just an absolute animal. Yeah, welcome to Bournemouth Football Club, Caleb Akoli, the former Atalanta centre-half that moved on to Newcastle a few years ago, spent 4 years at St James's, and to be fair, like Elise, struggled in his first year, but was then really solid. Was bought by Newcastle for 20 million and they flipped him for a £51 million profit 4 years later. Last year he scored 4 goals in 38. Really impressive for a centre-half. To be fair as well, he has put up some pretty solid numbers for a team that, again, last year were horrendously poor. They only just finished on the drop zone last year, so Akoli was the bright spot. But Newcastle cashed in £71 million. He was my main target to replace Joe Gomez, and I got him as well. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago there, physically, this guy is an absolute animal. He's 6'2", and I mean, he's green everywhere. He's green everywhere. You rarely see that. Yeah, he's rapid. He can jump. He's strong, he's 6'2", he's got great balance, which I often say is a really underrated stat. Mentally, he reads the game tremendously well, he's brave, he's got great concentration, which is really important on centre-halves, with 15 positioning as well. And technically, very tight marker, very good tackler, and he can head the ball in as well. The only concern with this guy is that he's not a ball-playing defender by any stretch of the imagination. 10 for passing and 11 for vision. This guy is not going to ping 50-yard balls on the diagonal. He can barely ping 5-yard balls to his centre-half partner. So, yeah, plays short, simple passes is a trait I would have asked him to learn had he not had it. But other than that, I think this guy is really, really solid. And to be fair, the one thing I will say is that I often play with 2 ball-playing defenders. I don't think you need that. I don't think you need 2 BPDs. I think you can afford to have just one out-and-out centre-half and then one really good ball-playing defender, because really the BPDs are there to play those 50-yard diagonals, you don't really need two of them. You don't really need two of those sort of players. It's a bonus if you got them, but you don't really need two. One is enough, and especially if you've got to play out a defence instruction on, and you play with a short directness in terms of passing style, like we often do. But anyway, Caleb Coley is in against 71 million, club record fee, eclipsing the 56 mil we spent on Elise and a 54 mil we spent on Mascara, and he is in. So, yeah, 4-year deal, 110 grand a week, got him for his prime. I'm pleased. Maybe a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but I'm still pleased. So yeah, that's it. That is it. Like I said, it was quality over quantity, and it definitely was. I know you were waiting to see those 18-year-old Argentine or Serbian wonder kids. Didn't sign any of them. No, didn't sign any of them. Because I realise it's season 8 now. You know, it's season 8. It's the Champions League year. We're finally in Europe's elite. We can't just keep buying kids and watching them develop. No, we've got to go for it now. We've got to go for it. So really, in the end, we spent about 130 mil, if you include Rodri's loan fee there, on just the free players. But to have got a little bit of money for the loan players, but also for Batarina and Gomez, 70 mil as well. In the end, it was about a net loss of 60 million, and that's the transfer budget we had to begin with as well. So if you look at the finances here, we spent practically every single penny on Caleb, Rodri, and Elise as well. The wage budget as well, I'm quite happy with this. We haven't had a massive spike, despite those 3 really class players coming in. In fact, it's not even the highest it's ever been in the save so far. So it is over 2 mil, but not by much more. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We spent every single penny that was given to us by the board, but we haven't bankrupted the club by a long shot. I'm quite happy with the business we did. Quality over quantity. I'd say the only concern I've got with the team is that there's a lack of depth. I mean, you would have seen the outgoings there. A ton of our players leaving either on frees or loans, or in the case of Batarina and Gomez, permanently. We haven't really replaced them in terms of depth. This is quite a small squad when you consider the fact we are going into the Champions League this year, so you need a fixed squad to compete for multiple honours. This is a small squad. I'd say really that's my only concern. In terms of quality, this is without a shadow of a doubt the best Bournemouth team we've ever had. I don't think there's any doubt about that. This is the best Bournemouth team we have ever had. There's young talent still here, but the first team quality we've got is just absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, it's a great team. It's a really, really great team. But again, that's my only concern here. Depth. There's not a lot of depth. Everywhere else, I'm happy. But in terms of the depth, that is the concern. But right now, there are a couple of issues to keep your eyes on, and some big issues as well. So Enrique wants to move to a bigger club. Not really surprised. After 1 year here, he was a great backup striker for Gran Coal. But I said to Enrique, if we get 80 million, I'll let you go. So far, no one has met that. Why is it showing up here? Normally I'd say a promise. But anyway, yeah. There we go. Agreed sale price. Yeah, so I said to Enrique, if someone matches 80 mil, you can go. So far, PSG and Barca put in bids of just over 70 mil, but I love it when players don't hold you against that. Like if you agree on a valuation, they'll always agree to that. So yeah, so far we're waiting for 80 mil. Nothing's came in yet. Massive interest, unsurprisingly so, from an amazing striker. But even so, for now, he stays. As you'll see, Georgie wants a new contract, and I was like, how about, you stop going for ridiculous balls that are 50 yards away from your goal and then you'll get one. But he's got 2 years left on his deal on 60 grand a week. To be honest, that market valuation's inflated because I put a fuck off price out there at like 200 million to deter the interest. But I think the likely is I will sell him in 12 months' time because we love Georgie. He's been here for 6 years now. 6 years? No, 5 years. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 years. Sorry, 5 years now, going into his 6th year. We definitely got the ROI, but he's just a bit error-prone for my liking. He's amazing at times, but then also at times he's amazingly shit. So yeah, George is probably his final year for the club, I would say. Because if I do give him a new contract, it won't be much more than 60 grand a week. But the big issue is this one, Mia the Dragon. Major interest in the summer from PSG and Liverpool. Again, I put a fuck off price out there and said, this is what, we're asking for here. And Mia Drag agreed to it in the player conversation. He was like, yeah, 186 mil, that's fair for me. I love the self-worth there from Mia Drag. And to be fair, I don't see why he's not worth that either. With inflation in this save right now, we're in year 8 now. This kid has become one of the best centre-halves in the world, and he's only 22. So to me, 186 mil, I think that's fair. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that's fair. We loaned him out to Leicester. We loaned him out to Sassuolo. The past 2 years, he's been our starting centre-half, and He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant, and he's still getting better at just 22 years old. He can play DM and CB, so yeah, he wants to leave, but we agreed 186 mil. Anything less than that, you're not going. And the problem for me, Drag, is this. You signed a stupid 8-year extension, mate. You signed an 8-year extension on 50 grand a week. I got you locked down until 2035, mate. You got another 6 years here. So, yeah, your agent screwed you over, mate. Not you. Not you. So, yeah, Drag is staying until someone meets that ridiculous price I've been asking for there. But otherwise, other than those 3 issues there, we're fine. The club atmosphere is very good. The hierarchy, the 3 team leaders remain the same. Scott, in the final year of his contract, Alex Scott, and also Georgie as well. And the social groups, as I always say, to begin with, it's always mixed, but eventually they'll all blend into one and go into one core WhatsApp group. So just a couple more things before we dive into the first game of the season, which is away at Villa Park. As you can see for the competition's expectations this year, this is what the board have given to us. I love how realistic this board is. It's not an ambition, it's just being realistic. Know where you are. We reached the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. We went to 3 straight finals before last year's knockout in the last 8 to Spurs. Reached the quarter-final of the FA Cup. That's the first we've ever got. We were there the past 2 years, but still haven't reached Wembley yet. And in the Champions League, be competitive. So they just want us to get into the league phase, which again, we're going to do automatically. So we've already hit that objective already without kicking the ball. But the Premier League is still finishing the top half. Eventually, they will start to say, be a best of the rest team, be a Europa League team. But for now, they're very realistic. We're still not that good. Like, we're still not as good as the big boys yet. We're 13-1 to win the title. But we're still ranked as the best of the rest. We've surpassed Newcastle now, because Newcastle have fallen off a little bit over the past couple of years, but we're the best of the rest. We're still not what you consider to be a top 6 team yet. Oh, by the way, Chelsea did offer me an interview, but I turned it down. But yeah, we're still not good enough to be better than the top 6 yet, so we're still a best of the rest team for now. So that's why the media say 7th. And to me, I'd agree with that. I want us to, again, stay here, really. Nothing less than the Europa League, but you know, ultimately, one of these teams always has an off year. These 3, I should say. So this to me is minimum, I would say, 5th or 6th. But again, the board are very realistic with this. 7th, realistically, is about as good as we should be year after year. Top 4, last year was amazing, but replicating that's going to be incredibly hard. And the last thing I'll show you is a look at pre-season. We had a mini tour of America. Can I just ask, by the way, when you go on pre-season tours, why do you play at such small stadiums? I don't understand it. We were based in California, and admittedly San Diego, but that's not too far from LA. We even played LAFC, but we didn't play at their stadium, I don't think. I don't know why. Like, it's just, I find it really strange. When you go on pre-season tours, you don't play at big stadiums. I don't know why. Or maybe it's our club reputation, I don't know. But even so, we won our Eddie Howe Cup, beating Real Madrid in the final. And we also got the testosterone flying against Porto FC. Can I just say, literally, this game, I shit you not, took over half an hour to get through. 22-0, it makes sense, but it took over half an hour. I always delegate my friendlies to Colo Torre, Colo, but I always take charge of the last one to manage the fitness. This took over half an hour to get through. It was so tiring, but we got there in the end, and this is our fixture list for the new season. And I suppose the only other thing to show you is what happened in the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations. Well, does that not work? No, it doesn't. So in the African Cup of Nations, as you'll see, in the summer, we had one representative, that was Toure with the Ivory Coast. But, as you'll see, Senegal were the winners, ending Ghana's 3-peat and beating DR Congo in the final. So Toure still waiting for the African Cup of Nations winners medal. You know what, guys? I think that's it. Let's crack on with the first game of the season. And it is indeed Aston Villa away, who last year overachieved massively. Last year they finished in 6th place. They qualified for the Europa League. They had an amazing year. I was very close to signing one of their players in the summer as well. In the end, I opted against it. That was their captain, Jacob Ramsey. I opted for Elise in the end. Whether that was the right call or not, I guess only time will tell. But anyway, heading into the game, Aston Villa last year had an amazing year, top 6, and this is going to be a meeting between 2 of the informed teams of last year. So heading into the game, this will be our team right now in the injury report. We've got quite a few players down. Last year was our most injury-plagued season to save. And to start the season off, we've already got 3 injuries. So hopefully it's not the same as last year. Urasevic is down, Chump is down, and Kazada, who, I'll tell you what, that's a little bit of a concern for me. Since Raul has come in, he's had a lot of knocks. He's had an awful lot of knocks. Okay, no major injuries, if you will, but since coming in, he has had an awful lot of knocks. So we've got to keep our eyes on that. The kid, as I said, I'm pinning my hopes on this wonder kid. Won the next gen top 50. He's the real deal. Last year was phenomenal, but that's my only concern about this guy. He does seem a bit injury plagued. By the way, Urasevic was signed a contract in the summer as well. I hate these red arrows, but he signed a new extension up till 2034. To me, he's the replacement for our captain, Scott McTominay. But he's out today, and this will be our team. 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress, with Georgie in goal, back four being Smallcombe, Caleb making his debut, Mascara and Aaron's with Rodri also making his debut alongside Scott McTominay. Traore and Sucic are the inside forwards, and Alex Scott given the freedom to go forward now that we've brought in Rodri. So we'll be pleased about that. Last year was his best season in the save, I would say. And one of the reasons why is because oftentimes we gave him more freedom to go forward and attack. Or now, with Rodri coming in, he's got as much freedom as he wants. He supports our top scorer last year and the Golden Boot winner, Garang Kual. On the bench, you've got Ward, Miodrag, Garza, Mitchell, Forsby, Radulovic, Elise, Delap, and Enrique as well. First in the game, it's the season opener. Aston Villa away at Villa Park in a meeting of last year's top 2 in-form teams. Come on, you Cherries. Yeah, I couldn't pass up the chance to sign Rodri. I really can't. I mean, he's just absolutely elite. I love him. And out of the 3 signings we made, I'd say I'm happiest about that one, even though it's a 33-year-old coming in on loan. He's just such a... I mean, he's just so intelligent. And he might get a debut assist 17 seconds in. Traore's shot deflected and claimed as well. He's just such an intelligent player. I love him. I really, really do. And, obviously the Champions League game winner, of course, lest we forget, against Inter Milan. What an amazing talent he is. And in this save, even at 33, he's still got it. There you go. Over the top. Traore's header. Oh! Goal. Kual taps in. What happened there? The flag's up for offside. We'll go to VAR. I think it's going to stand. But I thought the goalkeeper was just going to claim that very comfortably. That should stand. It stands. There we go. Garang gets to go. I don't want to see it on a replay there. The keeper just seemed to drop it straight to the path for Kual. It was a lovely ball by Rodri. And no, he just leaves it. He leaves it to it in the bar. He must have misjudged the flight of the ball, thinking it was going over. And Garang says, cheers for that. I'll tap it into the open goal. 1-0 Bournemouth. Howler from the keeper. Good start from Bournemouth, looking good out there, but again, Aston Villa were great last year as Rodri wins it back. He is just such a baller. I'm so happy to have him, man. As Sucic sends it long, Kual's on the end of it, tackle, Traore gets it back, Kual finds Alex Scott with the freedom to go forward and attack, and he says, Gaffer, thank you so much for bringing in Rodri, because I am sick of playing DLP. Alex Scott now has as much freedom as he wants, and this is where we get the best out of him. We've known this. We've known this for years. His best year prior to last season was his first. And why is that? Because he had the freedom to go and attack. But from season 2 to season 6, he had to sit back and play as a DLP. But he's so much better when going forward, so much more creative. And he's got his first goal of the season on the opening day. Bournemouth lead by 2 as Jacob Ramsey fires over. That is what Rodri will bring to this team. Veteran leadership, dressing room experience, a serial winner for all the trophies he's won at Manchester City, and I guess Chelsea in the save as well now, but also that anchor man that just sits back and says, you go and attack, I'm totally fine sitting in my own half for the most part. Bournemouth, 2 goals up. What a start to the game, and as things stand right now, we are at Aston Villa, and they cannot cope. Mascara to Rodri, and now Caleb to Traore. Tackled though, and away come Aston Villa. They need a lifeline, they might get it. Tony Martinez, great tackle, we drop straight to Mane, crosses, and Georgie makes the save. Blimey, it's highlight galore right now. Can't take a breather as Traore plays it into the middle. It's cleared, but Caleb gets it on the deck, and now Rodri to Smallcombe as Akoli sends it to Gaz over the top. Traore crosses, Sucic. Oh, should have been kept out. Keeper's having a mare out there. 3-0. Gotta feel sorry for that young goalkeeper. He is having an absolute mare, but thankfully the VAR saves him on this occasion as Sucic was offside. Won't need a replay in that case there. I'll take your word for it. But Rodri right now is showing a great game out there. Sitting deep, allowing the boys up front to just keep on attacking. Free roam. And as things stand, leading by 2, it's going to take an almighty collapse here to let Villa back in this game, because we've got this game by the scruff of its neck. Rodri's tackle drops straight to Van der Ven. And Villa, they need a lifeline. They need a lifeline, but they can't get past Rodri. He's intercepting everything. This is Interception Simulator 2029. This guy is just cutting out everything. It's unbelievable. He's done it again as McTominay's back to it. He's loving this out there. Winning back balls constantly. He's like my next door neighbour retrieving those balls over the fence. It's still 2-0. But here come Villa. They need a lifeline. DCL down the left. Plays a 1-2 and then Aaron's cuts it out. I'll tell you what, right now, this is our game to lose. Rodri over the top. Oh, Howler! Thank you very much. This keeper's having a shocker. Miscommunication. Traore capitalises. 3-0. This is why Rodri was my favourite signing of the 3, because what he is doing out there is just so key. I mean, it's just so key. You're going to individually praise him for what has been a fantastic debut out there. But at the moment, like, they can't get past the guy. They really, really can't. His interceptions are just incredible. The way he reads the game, his positional sense, his anticipation, it's unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. Even at 33, this guy has got it. We're 3-0 up. This game is done. And unfortunately for Villa today, their young keeper, he's had a shocker. He's had an absolute shocker out there. Leading by 3. We're taking our foot off the gas pedal now. This game is done. Free kick, Hamid Traore floats in, and it's headed up in the air, but Sucic gets it on the deck. Rodri has a go. Oh, and he caps off a brilliant debut with a goal as well. Maybe not quite as important as that CL final strike against Inter Milan, but just as sweet. Just cushions it in, just like he did against Inter in Istanbul. Just cushions it in, bottom corner, and Bournemouth lead by 4. Rodri, what a signing he's been on loan. Next season, whether Chelsea release him or not, I've got to bring him back permanently. He's having a ball out there. 7 minutes on the clock. Question is, can we extend our lead here to 5 in what has been an absolutely dominant opening day? This has probably been the best opening day we've had in the Save This. We've absolutely put the sword to Villa. And yes, to be fair, they had to start a young goalkeeper due to his... That's just a throwaway. That is just an absolute throwaway. That's probably a young goalkeeper out there. But even so, the performance all round has been great. That was poor from Mascara, though. Really, really poor. Shocking pass. And, well, thankfully the VAR saves Christian. And Georgie's clean sheet stands for now. That's very lucky. That was such a poor pass there. But yeah, just offside. Villa desperately looking for a consolation goal. Something, anything from them. And they're going to get it as well. Finish past Georgie. His clean sheet does go in the end. 4-1, but it shouldn't detract from a great performance. Other than the final 10 minutes, that was practically textbook. 4-1 victory for Bournemouth on the opening day. Rodri with a man-of-the-match display and a goal to wrap up his incredible performance as well. And I have to say, I am buzzing with that. That performance right there from Rodri was exactly why I've signed him. The amount of interceptions in that game was just incredible. Great performance from the Spaniard, great performance all round. Bournemouth win comfortably at Villa Park, and it is the dream start for Season 8. Lovely stuff, boys. Lovely stuff. Start as you mean to go on. That was what we wanted to see. But that will end today's episode of the FM Save, guys. So big fan of watching Season 8's opener. If you've enjoyed it, then please do. Wait, hang on. It is Season 8, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Yeah, Season 8's opener. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll return with... I think we just get through to the Champions League phase, right? We're not going to do any more business now. Of course we're not. We can't send any more players. We've got no depth. We can't buy anyone because we spent all our cash on Rodri, Caleb and Michael. So we'll get through the transfer window and we'll come back with our Champions League debut and what I assume will probably be Sunderland at home as well. Have a great day, guys. Much love. And I'll see you for the next episode of the FM Save very soon.